Hi, Clint with HDSLR Shooter. I'm here with John Thorne, Senior Product Manager at AJA, here at the, I guess, for lack of a better term, Cion release day, I guess, here in Los Angeles.
Yeah, we call it our launch event. We actually started shipping just before Christmas. So unfortunately, the holidays meant that we couldn't really do this event until right now. But yeah, this is our big coming out party, so to speak.
We've been covering the camera since NAB. Can you tell me a little bit about where you guys were? I think the predicted release was July, but you guys spent some more time.
Yeah, the big thing is that at AJA, we never have sort of brought a product to market. We didn't feel like it was credible or ready to go. Nothing's ever perfect, of course, but the big thing is you want to perfect it as much as you humanly can. And we knew that there were things we could improve, and had we shipped it in July, it wouldn't have had a lot of the modes that are in it now. Some of the gamma settings, some of the color correction settings, so we put more work into that. We added some features that we saw as feedback from both trade shows, internet forums, and incorporated that.
What was the decision process actually in going forward with making a camera?
And the real reason we kind of went for it, to be honest, cameras had gotten kind of strange. You had cameras that were little camcorders that you held out in front of you with a weird ponytail viewfinder, and after 8 hours you thought you were going to have the chiropractor have to visit you. And then you had the ENG style, but they sort of had a look to them that was sort of, in my opinion, a little bit cold. It looks like electronic news no matter what you do to it. And then, of course, DSLRs were a huge thing, because for the first time you had an affordable camera with an interchangeable lens, because usually that was the cutoff. We all wanted to pick the lens we wanted, not this thing that was permanently mounted. And you could kind of see that world developing, but it kind of happened by accident in some ways. And so we sort of took a planned approach to making a camera with interchangeable lenses, interchangeable lens mounts, so you can run the lens of your choice, ergonomics, because we thought for some reason ergonomics had gone out the window. Cameras were either little boxes or they were these ginormous things that were difficult to work with. I wanted something that looked like a Super 16 camera, because that's the world I came out of. I'm dating myself, probably with the gray hair in my beard. I wanted that experience again, but with a Super 35 size sensor. So that's sort of the genesis.
What is one thing that the Cion has that is just not available in any other camera? What would you say?
I would argue really consider design in terms of ergonomics and the amount of connectors. You see in today's event how many things I can drive simultaneously without sort of wiring extra junk to try and do that to the camera. That's a big deal, because in today you got to be monitoring 4 different things at the same time. That's important. And then ergonomics are a huge thing. You want to be able to pick it up, put it on your shoulder, and not have to sort of jerry-rig something. That's a big deal. And then the second part that I think is valuable is we really wanted you to be able to craft in-camera looks. So we really took time to make different looking color correction tables, different gammas, so that you can experiment and decide what's best for you to produce a picture that, if it's not the finished image, maybe it's close, so that when you go into post, it's not this huge cumbersome thing to try and get it back to a picture that you really want to show people.
If someone is looking to move into this camera, there are some considerations that need to take place. I think that there's some proprietary accessories as far as like the media is concerned that they need to talk about, the accessories that one will need to get this guy going.
The media is proprietary to us only because we decided, we made other products where we relied on sort of open standard media that then sort of died off. And that's unfortunate. So we thought, well, we'll make an armored shell that we actually could populate with whatever media appears on the marketplace. If it gets faster, if it gets smaller, that won't matter. We can choose whatever we want, populate this pack, armored pack. The pack's anti-static. You could throw it on the floor and not be worried about it. That was an actual choice. And yeah, it means you can't take an off-the-shelf drive that you don't know the provenance of and shove it in the camera, right? That's the trade-off. And we're not the only manufacturer that's decided to do that. There's a lot of appeal to take things that are sort of off-the-shelf media and use them. Unfortunately, the experience can change for you based on one firmware version inside a piece of media. One day it works and the next day it doesn't. And that's difficult if you're trying to make a camera, because you really want to know the media is going to be reliable. To really get rolling, the camera ships with PL lens mount. It ships with a battery adapter plate. You pick the battery plate you want to use. You could use Anton Bauer, you could use V-mounts from IDX or Swittronics or any of those. and then you decide what kind of handles you want to put on it. They don't have to be ours because they're standard M6 threaded. Basically, you dress it out however you want. You know, we didn't make anything that you couldn't connect to it. Yeah, you have to invest in a battery if you want to take it out in the field. We ship it in the AC power supply, which would only be good in a studio situation. So you'd pick out a battery system. You decide what's best for you. It's not a huge power draw. You can run off these 90-watt batteries, which you can actually fly with for 2 hours, right? And on a pro camera, that's unheard of. I'm not foolish enough to claim it's for everybody in every situation, right? Realistically, this is a camera that you want a light for. You see our little setup here today. It was lit. It looks great, right? You can see different modes in the camera, see how they interact. If your expectation is you take the camera out of a box and you just point it at something and magic comes out, it's not quite like that, right? It takes some care. It's much more like a film background almost, where you light it properly and it shines. And if you don't light it, it just kind of falls flat a little bit.
Where most cameras are, you got a flat image and that's what comes out. You guys actually have something that looks like it's ready for broadcast almost, right?
Yeah. One of our goals was to make a camera that sort of made a very pleasing picture out of the gate, because so much time now gets burned up. So for somebody who's especially doing episodic, this could be like gold, because you craft that look in the camera, take it to post, and maybe there's very little for you to do in post. You're speeding up the process. And if you're a cinematographer, maybe you made the look in the camera, the probability that it gets, for lack of a better term, screwed up in post goes down dramatically.
No, I noticed also if they have producers on set and they're like, why does the image look so washed out? You know, they have something to show them for sure. How future-proof do you feel like Cion is?
Well, the big thing, if you've ever noticed AJ's catalog, we don't remove things very rapidly, and we keep adding feature set to them, and I don't expect this to be any different.
AJA sells through a dealer network, right?
Correct. Yeah, we don't do direct sales, so it's sold through worldwide through a reseller channel. The great thing about that is they'll have other pieces, so they'll have lenses, matte boxes, follow focuses, battery systems, and you pick and choose, and they can help you assemble it. And I think that's important. You know, a little bit, the world's turned into this sort of, you know, online, one-click buy thing, and it's nice to have a relationship with somebody and build the system the way you want, or say, can you get me that part? Because some of these parts just aren't sold through regular channels.
Talk warranty a little bit. What's the warranty on this?
Yeah, on this guy, it's 2 years, and then the media has a 1 year. The camera, of course, is serviceable by us. And, you know, some resellers will likely be able to do simple things like, you know, if the fan system were to have some little buzz or problem, they could probably remove that and replace it. So that beyond that, it's sort of a factory serviceable item.
People want to find out more. I know your website has a tremendous amount of information. What is that website?
It's www.aja.com.
Thanks so much, Sean.
Yeah, thanks for talking to me.